What's up, everybody in the Discord? Thank you so much for being here. My name is The Real Abanov. You guys probably found me on TikTok and now you're here. So many of you ask me, hey, do you still smoke weed? And the answer is yes. But I don't smoke weed like I used to for the last 6 years. I used to be a lot like many of you, where I was smoking every single day, waking and baking at times. Sometimes waking up in the middle of the night doing it. I've done every single thing under the sun, all the different products, dabs, vapes, oils, rosins, hash, bubble hash, all the plant, every type of strain and all. And my whole reason for making this video is to basically talk to you guys a little bit about something that I've noticed. So for example, now I don't smoke every day, and I haven't been doing that for a while. Which prompted me to create this group in this community, because I realized that, hey, if I'm struggling with cutting back and quitting, so many other people are too. But I still use it as a ritual to dig deeper into my unconscious activity and even to get a little bit creative. So let's say yesterday, I was smoking with my wife. We had one little sativa plant last night. I use a vaporizer, a plant vaporizer. I don't recommend you guys to use distillate and oils. But anyway, she's seen me smoke for the last 6 years. She knows me better than anyone, and she never is consumed until very recently started with me when I wanted to do it as a ritual. So one of the patterns that we started to notice was how it feels when you first get high, at least for me. And I'm going to share this with you guys because I want to see if any of you can relate. And there's some really important stuff in here which I'll try to elaborate on. So for example, you start to you get your weed going, the vaporizer's hot, and I'm smoking it all up, and then it starts with this curiosity mindset. I'm somewhat submissive into what it is that this is going to show me, this experience. Where is it going to take me? And for a moment, it actually clears up everything. Whatever state I was in before, it completely clears up and washes over with this curious and open point of view. Okay, so then that's where it starts. And then I will start to get excited about this because I'm now starting to take a back seat in my experience and see all the things that are coming up in my mind, all the thoughts, the imagery, the emotions, the memories, everything that's coming up, and things that are being connected. It's like watching your own internal movie. So then you start to see this from a distance, and then slowly you're starting to zoom in on one thing at a time. Right? This is the next stage. Like you have all these different things, you're starting to zoom in, and you start to look maybe a little bit deeper into one of them, for me, right? And as I'm looking deeper, it starts to all of a sudden be like a juggle of balls or ideas and things floating around in my mind all at once. They're shooting out all at me from different directions. Think of if you guys use a web browser like Chrome or something, right? Imagine all of the tabs are opening up so fast, and they're opening up so quickly that you can't even click into each of them. And when you do, you're quickly going to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and you're not spending enough time on each of them. Well, that's how it starts to feel after some time. And then at this point, when you're jumping from tabs to tabs, you see you don't have as much patience as you did, right? Because you're not looking at what's there. So the next stage for me that comes up is this judgment phase. And in this judgment phase, I'll let the plane pass. So I think that the judgment actually comes to save the day in a way, because the judgment system is part of it, or analytical system. And for me, it will come in and it will start to judge this experience, like this sort of disarrayed, kind of lost experience where I'm seeing all these things. It's going to come in and it'll start to analyze what's going on, and it'll become a little bit more critical of what I'm experiencing, but also as the experiencer, it will start to look at this experience as to what is happening within me and what am I going to do about it, really. And when you want to smoke more, you can start to feel judgmental about that thought, because when you want to smoke more, you just want to feel to be in a different part of this loop, this high loop, right? Because it started with this curiosity, right? It started with this being excited, but now you've been jumbled into this sort of other realm where you're a little bit confused and maybe starting to get foggy, so you want to smoke again because you're like, hey, I want to feel that thing that I felt when I first got high. So that's where it's very important to notice that difference, because you might be just smoking again just so you can get back on the train. Okay, so you smoke again to get curious, and you didn't want to feel this volatility of emotions that come up, right? And so the real question really that comes at the end of this all is, are we going to get high again, right? Because you realize that this experience of starting from the curiosity all the way to the foggy, blurry state where you don't feel good, all was triggered by you smoking or ingesting. So now if you're at this experience towards the end of it or somewhere in the middle of it and you're like, I'm not feeling so good, then naturally you're going to want to smoke again because you want to experience another state change. So the urges, though, what I've noticed, they come and go. They like tickle you for attention, like, oh, we should smoke again so we can feel good again. But then you also know that what comes after those few stages is going to be back and maybe even worse than what you felt towards the end of this cycle. So it's interesting, and I want to bring this up because I'm someone that's very persuasive in my life. That's what I do for my career and something that I've learned. So I used to tell all of my friends and family about how weed is like the best thing ever for me, how it makes me super creative and I can handle it and I have it all under control and I can quit anytime. But 5-6 years later of doing that, I started to see that it had pretty strong grip on me. And even though it was innocent in the sense, I was still making, and I still do make good money, and I have pretty much everything that I want in my life. I live at the beach, I have a great relationship with my family and everything else, and I'm building this community with you guys. But I had to realize, what other things was it subtly hurting me in? Because I had volatility of emotions. I wasn't very stable. I was risk averse. I didn't want to take more risks. I was definitely not taking care of my health as best as I could. And these things started to affect me because the way you feel in your body affects the way you feel in your mind, and that's very much true. So every high always ends in a foggy state is the end of it, and these are the stages that I tend to notice. And I would love to hear from you guys. This is like an early behind the scenes type of piece of content, especially now that social media is trying to block me with talking about the weed and all. So I'd love to hear your feedback, and I want to thank you all for being here. So let me know what you guys think. This is a private video and it's made just for you.